I was
Again,
boss.
technical difficulties, guys. Technical difficulties. My goodness, gotta love it. This is Saber Talk Sunday, and we are starting off pretty damn good, man. We are starting off hella good. You know what it is? I didn't have a beer ready before we started, so
Oh, you see, now that's
that's
the
what happened.
problem right there. That's
See,
it.
that's what happened, man. I fell
That's
down
it.
on the job, man. I fell down on the job. West Sue. Mo's in there, Scott's in here. Let's see who else we got. Oh, and oh my gosh, Charlie. I hope you have a great workout, dude. I know you'll be listening in later. If you're not listening right now while you're working out, bro. And we're gonna have a good show tonight. We're gonna talk about some 3D printed parts, but we're also gonna have part two of of saber designs, like we were talking last week, man. So I want to incorporate both of those together.
Yeah.
Before we get started, I need to get my other part of my job get going here. Like I said, damn, I'm falling on the job. So, oh man, how was y'all's week so far?
It's
Good,
been
good,
pretty
good.
good. I worked part time at a grocery store, so Thursday was pretty crazy, and I was out.
No.
I'm getting carts back in, and God, I felt like I got burned. Ugh, it was,
Oh man, that's
yeah,
when everybody's gonna go buy their Fourth of July stuff, and hope you guys had a good Fourth, man. Also, happy Fourth to everybody.
yeah.
That's fun.
So, man, and I seen some pretty good Fourth of July sales, man. Not too bad either.
Yep, I finally picked up Kyberphonics K6 and Blue Mamba's Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor packs, which
Oh,
Oh,
has
cool.
Obi-Wan Kenobi's Phantom Menace font. So I basically have almost every single one of Kyberphonics' character fonts. I
Mm-hmm.
except for a couple because they're kind of dated.
Kind of dated.
Yeah,
hmm. He does updates regularly, I believe, on some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm pretty sure pre-cussing, pre-drinking, Mo. That is definitely something that Harris would have done, man. You know, um, real quick, man. I know this is kind of like off the topic and stuff, but man, for the people in the hill country, man, that lost their lives and had a lot of bad situation going on with that flooding, man. Jeremy, how you doing, man? Welcome,
Yeah.
welcome, dude. My thoughts and prayers go out to the families, especially those kids that were in those camps and, they got washed away. That's just, man, that sucks. And I really feel for those families and I want to send some prayers and condolences to those that lost them, and especially family members that maybe, they watch the show or if not, still that they see that our thoughts and prayers are with them and their families. So,
yeah. What
you
happened
know,
in Texas? That's awful, and I'm hoping that rescue services are able to get to whoever's still around there.
I'm sure my father-in-law was helping a lot over there because he lives over there. And so he's a retired police officer. So I'm sure he was doing a lot of good helping out over there as well. And you know, again, we're not that far away from that area. We're about 3 hours away. So, Jeremy, I wanted to ask you, man, in some of the stuff that you 3D print, um, one of the things that I wanted to ask some of the 3D printer people was, do you what do you guys do with the poop and the filaments that are not being used and not being utilized in terms of after you've printed your stuff? Um, Do you guys just throw it in the trash? Do you guys save it and put it in a bucket for like to take it to a center? Trash? Okay.
Personally,
Jeremy says
personally, I
trash.
am saving. I'm saving everything. I'm melting it down and I'm doing molds.
That's an interesting way of doing
Mold?
it. What
Wow.
it'd be interesting is that if you use those extra parts, if the colors mock together when remaking a new a chassis, that'd be actually kind of funny.
Yeah, actually, I can do that if I had, an injection molding or something like that. But I'm not doing that. I'm just doing regular some silicone molds with the basic meltdown process.
Mm-hmm.
I have a small little, one of those little small little ovens that you get, and that's way good enough heat to make small little, I don't know, like Star
Mm-hmm.
Wars figures, coasters, little toys, things like that. So I think that's what my efforts are going to go to for all my scrap because I've got a
Oh
lot.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting, man. That's actually a really good way
Actually, hang on
to.
1 second. I'll show you what it looks like when it's
Oh,
done.
bring it on, dude. Bring it on, man.
Yeah. Since I'm uh, since I'm in the desert, um, I made cactuses out of some of my molds. I don't know if you'll be able to see them too well, but they'll probably
Hold
be like
on.
screen
Hold
stuff.
on.
But
Let's get you in there. Whoa,
see,
look at that.
yeah,
Yeah.
don't mind that. That's my little blade foot. But hang on. So I'll show you that. Right, that's these.
Uh-huh.
So I made the molds. I have the molds. So I just pour it in there, silicone molds, and you melt it in the oven. You dry it. Now, if you look at the back,
Uh-huh.
you can see all the particles.
Oh wow!
You know, you see all the
Right.
little pieces and bits that it takes a lot to heat it, but it just takes time. But that's something that I'm going to do with like other items
Wow.
and other things. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of molds I'm going to try. They're pretty cool.
Superman. No.
T to the mother.
Oh
Oh,
man. No,
cactus
that is
so
super
far. That's
cool,
about
dude.
it, man.
That is
But
super
I wanted
cool.
to try it.
And
I wanted to see if it would actually, if it's possible to even do, and it is. It's
yeah.
totally, and they're solid, man. They don't. It's just like a 3D printed, piece, or almost even better because of this. It's got a smoother surface because of the mold. But pretty
Right.
cool.
No, that's awesome, man. I mean, you and Jeremy, thank you so much for answering me as well, dude, because I have not got my carbon my Centauri carbon just yet. Like I said, I probably won't get it till August. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've already got some filament in. I bought the package with it since my girls wanted me that money. I was able to spend $444, and I've got the little feet rest on there, the anti shake stuff that they put there. I've got pretty much the updates for the whole machine after all the stuff that people were complaining about and the updates that they made to the software, they made to the thing itself. Now I'm really interested in all the modifications that come with this stuff to print out for the mods. And I'm like so interested to get started to print something, but at the same time, I need to slow my roll. I need to slow my roll, man, because I'm getting too excited for. I ain't even got the machine yet, and my brain is on fire, dude. On fire.
Hmm.
And I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to get it and get it set up. Um, and even to start, printing some chassis like from people to put into lightsabers. And I'm like, oh my God, but there's so many other applications that you can do. And I was just like telling my mom, I said, shit, I can even put some of these parts at the ranch. I can utilize some printed parts at the ranch for things, man.
Sure, you can. We
And
just did the other day. Yeah, it's great.
like
3D printers are
I
really
think
fun, man.
it's
They're fun to do.
yeah, and I like ABS and what is it?
little harder to print with ABS, but it can be. It's a very it's a little bit tougher than most people think, but
Right.
um,
Well, also now that Elegoo has come out with an high temp uh a high temp other what is it, the PLA? It's a high temp PLA now, and it's not carbon fiber and it's not anything else. It's a higher temp PLA, which is supposed to be just as easy to print with.
oh nice,
um, but it utilizes a lot more heat in order, so
yeah,
it won't melt down, and it won't just disintegrate, or it'll withstand a lot of heat, from what I understand from Elegoo.
mm-hmm.
And
As
they
long as
did
the
a
printer can
video on
handle
it.
the temperature settings, you got to make sure you get the printer that can handle the settings because you get
Hmm.
those little jobbies. Sometimes they're not designed to handle that much temp, because that's like 240, 260, sometimes even 270 or 80 as far as what I've read on packages before. Mostly it's 240 is like the 240 to 250 is like the highest melting point that I've
Hmm.
seen, with ABS and PETG and carbon fiber is just like regular PLA. You can just print that at a normal stage, even though it does have its printer settings. But there's still a little bit. It's basically the same thing. So let's say you didn't
Hmm.
have a carbon fiber setting like automatic, you could just print it the regular way. It still works fine. You just have to monitor, how you progress with it.
Yeah, and that's actually what I'm seeing, though, is that the high temp stuff, though, is I mean, you from what I've seen so far, and it's just a couple of videos, but you do have to do it at a slower rate, so that
Well,
and
depends. Depends.
yeah. So I've been watching a couple of videos from Uncle Jesse and MM Maker or something like that. She's very knowledgeable about a lot of machines, and she also does, different paintings and painting PLAs and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
and then of course, Frankly Built Frank from he does a lot of cosplay stuff, so a lot of Iron Man's suits and stuff like that as well. So
Nice.
those people that I've been watching, very interesting content,
Cool.
because so far they said that they haven't had any real issues with their machine, which is the Centauri Carbon, which I bought, right? There's just a few gripes about, the camera and stuff like that. And to be honest with you, I don't pretty much care about the camera. I'm not gonna, most of the time when I'm gonna be printing, I'm gonna be printing at home. I'm not gonna, go somewhere after starting a print and
Right.
anything else like that.
Yeah, it's not really
Um,
advisable to leave them unless you have some way of connecting with them and being able to shut them down. Because you leave the house, man, and it
mhm.
can go up in flames. And it almost happened to me with the other time when those gears went out. It just keeps going. It doesn't stop. So it just keeps. There's no sensors on most of the
Yeah,
connected
see,
units.
Jeremy says his goes 24/7.
Yep. Yep.
That's awesome, Jeremy. I mean, for printers to go 24/7,
Oh
and
yeah.
and
That's
I
basically
and
what I'm
Jeremy,
doing now.
I
I'm printing every day.
yeah, yeah, you're printing every day. I think probably in the beginning I might just do some small batches, like maybe a few like maybe 5 or 6 chassis at a time, do those and work my way up, because like I said, eventually I want to do some Star Wars ships, and of course
Yeah.
eventually the droids ultimately, and if
Those are
anybody
fun.
has seen uh Jeremy's droids that he just finished up, I mean, oh my god, and that is just awesome quality. The cleanliness of it is just fantastic. You
Hmm.
don't see a whole lot, I don't see any lines and anything else like that. Of course, it's a lot of work too, for going and sanding down from when I watch. Oh, thanks, Chet. Yeah, man. I have to really thank my girls, man. My kids, my two girls, Izzy and Abby. They the funny story about that is Daddy's losing on that game, and they said, "Dad, let me have your phone." I'm all like, "All right." So I probably won like $1.04, $1.50. So I probably got up to like $3, right? And they said, "Dad, let me have your phone." I'm all right. I'm just gonna go lay down with your mother anyway. Go for it. So next thing I know, one of my girls comes in and says, "Dad, you got about $150." I'm all like, "What?" And then the other one, the following day, says, "Dad, you're up to 250." I'm all like, "What? No
Wait,
way."
wait, this is a gambling game?
No, it's a solitaire game, but you can win money on there depending on your level of skill,
Oh, wow.
right? It's called
Well,
solitaire. It's
well,
called solitaire cash.
congratulations. You just convinced your daughters to use to win to you got to pay them at least like $5 for the help.
Oh, I'm paying them a little bit more than that, man, because I already told them if they got some stuff, some projects for school, college, and they need me to print something for them, it's a done deal, man. I'm gonna tell you tell me what you need, we'll get it done, right? And then from this point on, though, if they do make me any more money, because they ultimately won me $385, man. I just had to come up. I just had to come up with that hundred and so what 114 $15, man. And that was nothing. I basically sold a few things and was able to get that money.
Mm.
So I got the good all in one family package on Elegoo's site, man. And it's got three bill plates. It's got the anti the little footrest to keep it straight from moving around. It's got an extra extruder that comes with it. It's got, I think it's gonna have like two rolls of filament, which I already got, maybe three, and glue stick and something else. So I've got a good amount of stuff, man. And Elegoo actually took off 10% on there. So instead of paying 299 for the machine, I got it for 285. So the cost of shipping cost me about $30. So all in all, it was not a bad deal at all.
Mm.
I guess because I was a brand new customer, so that's why I got a little bit off the machine. But all in all, not bad. Not a bad deal, man.
Yeah.
And I've been hearing a lot of good things about the machine. So let's get 3D printing some lightsabers too. I saw
Saying that,
I
and
saw
sorry,
huh?
sorry. Can I've seen a few of those. One of them I've seen
Mm-hmm.
is someone from ES Sabers over in England did like a Darth Talon lightsaber, which
Uh-huh.
all things considered, that actually makes sense considering the Sith lightsabers from the Legacy comics were very difficult to, I would say, make. Like the closest one they've come to an actual metal hilt is Jawa's Junkyards. But I mean,
Yeah.
I would say 3D printed lightsaber hilts, they can work, I will say. And there are ones on Etsy where you can actually install like uh, chassis from Nexus and LGT, which makes it easier for them to do it. But I would say fast-paced dueling with them, it would not be recommended.
Well, yeah, no, 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 no. Because if you're gonna do that, you're gonna have those kind of lightsabers for shelf queens, more or less. So I mean, you're not gonna really go and do, I mean, you
Or
may
those
have
flow
one.
sabers, flow sabers are good for 3D printing. Depending on which ones and how they're 3D printed. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Hmm.
there's a lot of different ways of 3D printing. There's resin printing. There's PLA printing. There's mold injection printing. There's all different forms of printing. So to say that one will work over the other, it's a pretty big toss up. You may get lucky on some of the builds out there that you could possibly light duel with and things like that. Like my
I'm
little
glad you made
katana
that
that I
point.
made. Well, like that, my little katana that I made, I'm gonna test it out to fullest because it's a full imprint and it just holds a blade and a chassis that I built. All sits in there just fine. So if it holds up on a little bit of dueling, I think I call that a win. But not for like competition dueling where you're, really smacking it,
Right.
Yeah.
busting blades. We
Yeah.
know that the plastic, depending, it may hold up
Yeah.
enough. It all depends on the design and how you print it.
Yeah. If you've gone onto MM's website and you see some of her videos, she did a couple of lightsabers and she painted it very well to look metal. I mean, the painting job that she did was absolutely fantastic. And I think you're
Yeah,
right. I think she did do it. Um, I think she did resin print those
I
hilts
grab my
that she
katana.
did. Because
And
I think
so,
she did Balin skulls and Shotties, right? She did those two hilts. And they turned out pretty damn
this was
nice.
my 3D printed katana that holds any core that I wanted to. I went with this basic design of the
Oh,
regular George.
hold on. I gotta put you up closer.
I mean, I'm hitting my work table, and I'm not even making a dent. This is regular PLA.
That's
It's
PLA,
solid.
regular PLA?
Yeah, it's solid. Yeah,
What?
it's regular PLA.
Wow.
It's pretty amazing. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty amazing.
Uh-huh.
And this is just, and I have to be honest with you, I have it in pieces. Shit, sorry about the camera, guys, but I have it in pieces. See, I have the
Mm-hmm.
ring, and then I have this, and then I just slide it on, and you can actually use your glue with this. But I mean, you're not going to break this thing. There's no
Wow.
way.
What's the
I'm
percentage of
trying, man. I'm
infill?
really bending this thing, and it is not
Wow.
coming across. So
And that's just regular PLA?
this is
That's
just
not
regular,
PLA plus?
plain old black, shiny PLA cheapo stuff, not the top quality
Wow.
stuff I'm talking about. So there's a lot of fallacies. You got to watch those things. You got to do a lot of research when you do these PLAs. See, I do a lot of
Yeah.
research on how to get these things to do this. You
And
know,
what was the infill? What did you do the infill
hundred
like?
percent, 100%.
100% infill? Okay.
100%
Wow.
infill, no fail, man. You use 100% infill on everything. It really becomes pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
So
said,
you can
also depends on how thick you make things. Like if this chassis was really thin, then we would probably, I mean, if this body was thin, we probably wouldn't be doing that. I would probably have broken it
right.
anyway. But since it's a pretty decent thickness and it's made
Yeah.
really well from the printer, I can say that these things would be pretty good for like kids dueling, things like that. I mean, I would say I would. And if you break it, you print another one and you put the core in, and that's it.
Right. Right.
And to
Man,
hold the
see
blade, I just
that's
put a little set screw in there. I did put a little set screw in there, and it holds it just fine for like flow and stuff. But if you want to really hold it in there good, you can recess a knurl in there, or you can um, have the printer print over the space that you put the knurl in, so it's more solid. There's so many different ways.
oh, and I bet the Greeblies, the 3D printed Greeblies would be freaking awesome too, right? I mean,
Oh
just for the lightsaber alone itself, and the 3D print those Greeblies, so much like Nerf Herder, Tiffon, and Jeremy, and in the Greeblies that they put into their 3D printed chassis, right? And then they get the 3D printed brass inserts that go on top of those. Uh,
Yeah.
God,
yeah,
man, I mean, it's
I know.
exciting
I do the
stuff.
same exact thing.
Yeah. The only 3D
all,
printed
all
chassis I have,
installers do it, man. We all do it. We all have those little special little things that
the
we
only
love to
Yeah,
operate. So, but it's more of a. I would like to say it's more of a imagination. Everybody has their own imagination on how they perform and what they want to see in it. Which is awesome. But we do all.
absolutely, man.
The only 3D
Absolutely.
chassis that I have right now is the one that I got with my
Nice.
Slayer of Clones by Loretto Sabers, and I mean it's a nice design. It's simple. It's got a little crystal chassis. But I know that in recent years, like for example, even the Anakin Starkiller Kenobi A New Hope hilt that is made by TXQ, like its
Oh yeah.
crystal fiber is, even though it's metal, it's like a pretty decently. I'm not sure if it is 3D printed, but it looks like it from a certain way of it.
Yeah, it can
Oh,
be 3D print.
by the way, next month I was thinking of doing a giveaway. So, Mr. Norton had said that he would like to help out, man.
I
And
Yep.
go ahead.
He asked me if I could get your contact information. So I'm glad that you two connected.
Oh man, he is awesome, dude. So if he's watching, man, dude, you're amazing, man. Uh,
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 I sent him yesterday a bunch of my hilts. I'm getting them upgraded. I'm trading them in. So I've got about 5 or 6 of them going out. I'm trading them in for the
mhm.
8 9 Sabers versions of them. So
Nice.
that's going to be a
Well,
lot.
I invited him to be on the show, and I said when he said he would come on the show, but he's not yet comfortable just yet. So I
No,
said,
of
dude,
course.
when
Look,
I said when you're ready, let me know, and I will get you on the show, man.
no, public
And
speaking
see,
is
that's the
really
thing.
hard. It's a difficult.
Yeah.
You have to. I mean, I'm used to it because I did theater as young as third grade. So
Yeah, and well, see, that's the thing that when I invite people, and I invite everybody, here in the chat and whoever else wants to come on, I invite everybody to come on if they want to. And like I always say, it's always an invitation, never a have to. So if you don't feel comfortable and you want to stay in the chat, by all means, it's all good, man. But if you do want to come onto the show, let me know. I will send you the link and we can have some fun, man. Um, I want people to feel comfortable coming on and having fun talking with us. If you feel more comfortable being in the chat, that's fine too. If you feel comfortable in front of the camera, cool, man. Come on, let's have some fun. Right?
So I'm working on these guys.
oh, those are
I
master
Uh,
battery packs. Yeah, those things are ancient by nowadays standards. Those are
they
the
are.
oh,
This
smaller
is
ones.
this
is
is
that?
one of this is one of the original ones that I'm trying to I'm formatting off of, and now this is the 3D printed one that I'm working on.
Very
Which is
nice.
Look at that. Look at
right.
that.
Oh,
That is very helpful to those that want to keep master replica sabers, like to keep the original electronics together. That's a very interesting way of doing it. I will
so
say
Wow.
has
that
the exact same measurements. Everything is identical. I mean, they have everything. So this should just go in and work. That's the whole objective of this is to have it just go in and work. Same speaker, same everything. So I
well,
designed this one to match this one. Um,
you know what would be
Uh-huh.
interesting is
but
that
that's not going to stop me from doing other models though, because I can do also the Force Effects models, the larger master replica models that have the bigger 112 size, or the Kylo Ren ones, which I
that
also do.
have you worked on a 3D battery pack similar to the ones that Galaxy's Edge sabers work, because that could be very helpful if you end up doing your own conversion things similar to what Sabers Forever does.
So the Savvy's Workshop
Yeah,
sabers?
the one from Sabi's
Oh,
workshop.
so there is I think is it KR that has the conversion kit. They already have the chassis with the board, and everything that you're possibly going to need for the Savvy's conversion. Now the
Okay.
Galaxy's Edge conversions are different, but yes, these are basically along the same lines
Hmm.
as the regular ones. Because when I did my conversion, it was almost the same type of uh, pack with the triangular recess in here.
Very nice.
Yeah, so
Wow. See, I want to.
next thing on the list is to get more of these sizes so that people, if they need them desperately, I'll be able to, to make these. You know.
hmm I want to come up with a little something like that, but with a 26 650, where you can just insert it into the hilt, more or less like your
Yeah,
chassis,
you
right?
could, you can do that, but the only problem is that it's the room. It's the room that you face. You would have to actually go with something of a smaller type of a battery, like maybe a 12, 30, 50 or something like that. Half the size, but it's only going to be half the capacity. But then you'll have a little bit more room. If let's say you wanted to put the board in here and the speaker at the same time, you could, but it's going to be tight. Depends.
Yeah.
This mall was very tight. There's like, if I was to try to do a battery in this one, it's possible. I could do it, but it's just going to be very. I have to use a different type of battery. It wouldn't be an 18650, not in this range.
Right. Well, I think you can. I mean, you can get away with a 21 700 easy, but
No,
the
no, no,
26
not in that.
650 is a little harder. You
Not in
know.
this. You know what a 21 700 is twice is about the size of this.
Yeah,
You can't
exactly.
put that in this thing.
Hey,
You'd have to put like a.
Yeah.
definitely. Hey, I actually ended up getting some new sabers in yesterday.
Oh, let's see
Oh,
him,
nice.
dude.
Well, the first one I got was one that I ordered when I was at Saber Strong back in early June, late May, early June. This one is based
Hmm
off of the saber that Kyle Katarn picked up in Dark Forces 2.
Oh, dude.
And I mean, it's definitely not like the ones that LDM did or what Corbamp did a run of a while back, but it's still
yeah.
pretty beautiful. Like,
I installed one of those
hmm
months ago. I love those. Those things are pretty cool.
yeah, and it's a nice, simple design. And accessing the bottom chassis is actually quite simple. It's just simple and come on, yeah, just nice.
Oh
But Chris Norton, he's in addition to all the lightsabers I sent him, I also sent him up all
Ooh,
my.
buddy.
Sorry, my bad. I sent him all.
You put some grease on that thing.
Well, yeah. Well, the point is not to take it out anytime soon. But
yeah.
I'm getting some. I sent him all my cores to be augmented and also upgraded. So I'm hoping to get those back within the next couple weeks, hopefully, or months, depending on how things go.
Mhm.
And the other one, this is I won't say the crown jewel of my collection, but it's certainly a jewel.
Oh yeah, very nice, man.
This is
What?
this is the KR Sabers one replicas Emperor run that they did back in 2020. This one is the one that actually takes the 1-inch blade.
That's the pink gold, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and this thing is definitely a fingerprint magnet, but
Oh
I
god.
I definitely give it a little bit of nice little
Oh yeah.
stuff. Like it's so
Oh.
this thing is like made of aluminum and brass. Like it's got some heft
Heavy.
to it.
Does it?
Yeah, and
Wow.
That's a good one.
and I can tell you this: if I ever meet me and Ian McDermott, I will never, ever, ever ask him to sign this hill. This thing does not. It's not going to be a signature. I'll get him to sign a plaque, and of course the picture is what matters. But
There you go.
yeah, it's
There's only one thing I got to say about that hill.
Whoa, a new toy! Can I play?
yeah, but I have all the I got it from a guy from Andrew Barber off of one of the and here's the box. It's backwards because it's yeah, but yeah, KR sabers and one replica. So yeah.
and then you never screen somebody, like face talk somebody and all that, man. It's the same concept, dude. So if you ever gone on Zoom or anything like that, it's all the same content. It's the same thing, dude. But yeah, that's an awesome saber, man. And Ian McDermott, dude, such a great actor as well.
Oh, definitely.
Um, one of the things that I was watching too is when I was watching Star Wars, and I was thinking of Obi-Wan's character, right? And that man, the guy that played Obi is just
Alec
if
Guinness.
you yeah, Alec Guinness, but I mean, have you ever seen his earlier movies, right? And the reason why I said that, Alec Guinness, because not everybody knows his name, but I want to portray his character Obi-Wan more or less. And son of Ricardo, does anyone think the Force choke works through streaming online? It might, dude. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, um, let's see here. Oh my God, my train of thought is going bye, guys. Hold on. Okay, Obi-Wan, Alec Guinness. I wanted to portray him as Obi-Wan because not everybody knows his real name, but at the same time, we need to teach people, right? And I feel the force somebody choking me. Um, anyhow, uh, in his earlier films, you know that he was actually more theater and classical films
Yeah,
than anything else.
yeah, he's a
And
classic
the
actor. I knew that.
And the only reason why he took Star Wars was that the character itself was so complex that he couldn't help himself but decide to do it. And that was so interesting to see that.
Yeah,
Charlie. Yeah, in your mind? Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. Um, let's get into some more of these hilts, man. And in looking at some of these hilts, Syndrilix. Okay, I'm gonna do three hilts here. Syndrilix, Barasophes, and who else was it? There
Sin,
was
you're talking clan hilts.
well, I'm pretty sure these are the same within the same clan, right?
Yeah,
Or not?
with Syndraligs, originally it was just going to be a plain silver hilt with a fashionable top from Episode 3, but in Clone Wars in season 5, we finally got a more detailed look of what his hilt would have looked like as a character hilt.
Yeah, well, because Syndrilix and Barris, they look pretty similar. I
Actually,
mean,
if we look at, well, not
the
entirely.
only
Syndralig's hilt
the go ahead.
Syndralig's hilt is more gold and ornated. And for Barris Offes, if you look at, for example, the ones that from Loretto Sabers' website, um, basically Barris Offes, yeah, that's hers. Basically, that clan hilt, I actually have it on my wall there, is based more on
Cool.
what Shakti uses as well.
Yeah. And then, of course, you're going to see Barris's or Syndrilix right here too.
Yeah,
I mean, very similar. Now, see, the plate is different right there, and
it's
that's pretty much the only difference I see in their hilts.
Hmm.
yeah.
Right? Is the
They
clamp card.
Yeah, basically, when originally, actually, the clan hilt that Barris Offee had, let me actually look this up real quick. Barris
No,
Offee hilt Geo
no,
knows.
Jocastus was pretty interesting.
Jocasta knew, yeah. Okay, so Barris Offee's hilt, if I remember correctly, it originally was supposed to be um, just all that what you saw, except minus the gilded part.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at KR Sabers. They did a custom one. Let me see. Hold on. This is yeah. This is something that they did 11 years ago. Yeah,
Now, do
wow.
you think? See, and Luminaris is pretty interesting as well because she has tones that are pretty close to Maul's type, right?
Well, the same could be said for Lumina. The same could be said for Plo Koon's hilt as well. Because keep in mind,
Yeah.
these sabers, I mean, if you go on Loretta Saber's sites, he has a whole. He mostly specializes in in clan lightsabers. These lightsabers were made to to save on production costs. And I actually, when I talked with Roger Christian about it, he said that he didn't necessarily agree with it, but when I showed him just the different designs of it, he said that it's interesting how the fan base and community has become so attached to these sort of, these hilt designs.
Yeah, the
But
designs are, but without the differences in their designs. No, and now I can see the similarities of stuff,
but the cool
right?
thing, but another cool thing about clan hilts and especially the Loretto sabers is that you can be able to mix and match the different pieces, especially if you were to order from his site.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like for
Now
example,
that,
take my Slayer of Clones, my Keller and Beck hilt. It's a pretty simple clan hilt design. I mean,
yeah.
if you look at it, it looks like it. I would say the only thing that would separate it from all the other ones is how the shroud is here.
That's well, yeah, because I mean it's a very subtle difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's very subtle.
Oh, it's cool.
Well,
Nice and clean there.
yeah. I am thinking of getting it weathered someday.
Hmm.
Maybe battle scarred, like after how
whether lightly or heavy
I would say somewhere between light and medium. Like maybe like a
or
stray,
medium,
like maybe like
I think that would.
a stray blaster bolt, like carbon scoring.
Nice. Yeah.
Charles Oaker. He's really trying to use the force, man. Oh, that is too hilarious, dude. Oh my god. Now 3D printing some of those greeblies on some of these sabers, I think that they enhance it. And I'm not talking about within the chassis itself. I'm talking about outer parts.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah, that could work.
because of some certain designs that you have, and in within the emitters or the buttons themselves, uh, you know, uh, there are such a plethora of things that you can utilize. I mean, you find stuff like this from your Dremel and maybe put that as a greebly on his saber, right? Well, instead of putting the heavy piece on the saber itself, scan it, 3D print it, and put an LED inside of it as part of the greebly on the outside of the saber, right? And therefore you enhance that saber just a little bit more. And you may not even have to put an LED on the inside of it. Maybe you can utilize it as an activation button, right?
Yeah.
Hmm, possibly.
So, well, I mean, it's
Depends on the
with
chassis. Like I said, most of your chassis are going to be round, unless you got a dark saber that's like thin and oblong, something like
uh-huh.
that. But what you have to be able to do is fit all of that stuff. And if you're planning on putting on the outside, you have to make sure that the outside diameter is going to tolerate all those little things that you put on it. Because you shove it in
Right.
there, you break that little piece off. Oh, it's on the floor. It's gone. Oh, where'd it go? So you have to incorporate within the realm of how the chassis goes in. Of course, the crystal chambers are more embedded things. The crystals
Yeah.
inside, all the needle pins and everything else are on the inside. So it's just a matter of how the chassis is designed. If you got a lot of room, let's say like you got an MPP or something, you can put stuff in that all day, or a Luke
Yeah.
or an Anakin, all those big gripped hilts, the chunky hilts. You could get away with
Yeah.
a lot of things.
Well,
Oh,
especially with the
little
Evo that you
mention.
just
Oh,
did.
by the way, this is your adapter, Mo. By the way, I forgot to show you that. I'm not cutting it yet, but I'm almost there. This is his 7/8 to 1 inch aluminum adapter that he's going to use for one of his custom hilts. And
Oh, wow.
Man, look at that.
I'm putting a recess in it so that he has a clamp that clamps around this, and it'll keep the blade in. But this is true 7/8, true 1 inch. Like it's in within mil, thousands of specs. So it's pretty cool. But like my point was is that you're trying to get stuff in a small hole, you're going to run out of room quick unless it's long, because as longer the chassis is, you can get more stuff like Bluetooth stuff. Piling on stuff on top of a thin chassis is you're either gonna run into problems, or it's gonna be very very tough, and you have to get some tough material like resin, which is
Hmm.
a pretty good thing when you come down to smaller options. You know what I mean? But I've done 1 inch chassis that hold just fine, and if they're long, like let's say a regular, a core size, you could put a lot of that in it, a lot of stuff in it. But Greeblies, yeah, Greeblies are awesome, man. Especially when they're embedded in the chassis. You see like the wires, and then I'm noticing that a lot of people like yourself, do the painting and all that stuff to the parts and get them to stand out.
Hmm.
Um, very cool though. There's so many great ideas out there. I think I'm seeing it from a lot
See,
of people.
like Stellan's here. I can't see that
Wow.
a, a hilt like this would utilize every single bit of metal, right, on it, and that part right here would be kind of like a 3D printed part to make it look like metal, but it stands out, right?
Well,
It looks
it's
good
more
on
of the
there,
strength of the hilt, though. You know what I'm saying? That's already a part
right?
of the hilt. But yeah,
Yeah.
you know who did that for a while? I know Mystic Knights did that. I printed out a couple of greeblies that he put on some of his swords. For some clients
Hmm.
who wanted some, small little, tiny little squares or triangles and things. So I did that. So he weathered them. He did it if he wanted to. But it looks really great.
Yeah.
Those things, absolutely.
And then how many people actually utilize 3D printed clear parts, right? To for the diffusion of some of the LEDs that they have. Now on
Oh
top
yeah.
of that, if they don't 3D print that type of stuff, they use the mesh like from uh maybe small metal mesh and so forth from speakers. Let's say you have a screwed up um stereo that broke like years ago and you're just tearing it apart, but you got the little mesh that goes around the speaker and you can
Yeah.
utilize that for any kind of diffusion and so forth within a saber, the greeblies
Well, like
itself,
these
or
little
within
things,
the chassis.
they're just covers. They're just covers, and they hold the speaker just like this. That's all
Hmm.
they do. You know. So I'm in space. Okay, now I'm better. So this is just basic. I was just trying to follow what they were doing, but this is all the original OG stuff for this pack.
Right.
But it's really simple. I
And
did it.
sometimes that works better.
Yeah, I did it modular, and here's why: it's because you have to wire this stuff. You have to get all your wiring in there so that
Hmm.
it all matches and everything else. So making these modular and just gluing them together is perfectly fine. Um, and
Cooster,
basically on
later,
the
man.
batteries, these would be like throwaways. I mean, you basically just toss it and get another one. I mean, the speakers are cheap, all the hardware is cheap. The only thing that's not cheap is the battery.
Scott's right about that, Charles. Unless they got better, but I don't know. I haven't kept up with them in a while.
Ultra C.
Not now. You have some interesting designs from Darth Atreus, and let me move this. Hold on. My God, there we go.
Hey,
And I'm going to come up right here. It doesn't wanna. It doesn't wanna go.
there you go.
Okay, so Darth Atreus.
Oh
Some
wow.
Yeah,
interesting concepts, man.
Yeah, that's one of the
They're
ships
in.
that haven't been fully introduced yet. Only like in the in the new EU, but yeah, it looks interesting. I'll give it that.
yeah, very
Well,
nice.
and interesting doesn't necessarily translate to functionality, like you said, Bears.
Yeah,
We,
like
it's.
like for example, the cross guards there, it would
Mhm.
if the blades were longer or more slanted. Which I mean, for example, Saber Forge, they could pull it off because um, they could pull it off because of how they've done it in the past with those. Um,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Now, I'm not sure if Philip Isherwood would ever consider it, but it definitely is a very interesting hill to it.
Now, I think let's get into some of the staffs. Now, especially like Savage's, right? Savage's staff.
Savaggio Press, that one, it's that one is a very nice hill. Like it's not. It has. It looks. I would say the closest thing that it has to relation because it looks like he built it based off Count Dooku's. Um, but the closest thing I would say when it comes to similarities to Dooku's hilt is the claw. But that's
Yeah.
basically not
yeah,
it. But ultimately, what I like about that hill is, and there have been some incredible, Corbanth has made a version of it. Even the one that's made by Nexus, it still looks
Hmm.
amazing. Like that's a hilt that I would not mind getting any version of because it's that good.
Yeah. Well, I think for those that utilize the staffs, you would have to be very proficient in your lightsaber skills because the just one little mess up, I mean, just
Well, it's a
turning it
well,
and when you're spinning and you touch your back with that blade, boy, you either gonna mess yourself up or you're gonna have some scars from hell. 'Cause-
like for example, I have a Darth Maul, and I'm able, and I mean, I'm able to use it because I know how to spin it around. And obviously, if I wanted to be more controlled, I would have to definitely pull the way I turn the hilt around with it. But in a more open environment, I can just simply let loose and just twirl it around on end.
right, right. No, no, I totally get that, man. I do. But what I'm saying is for somebody who tries to utilize his staff wouldn't necessarily translate to their type of proficiency, right? Because in order to utilize those staffs the way that the Jedi and the Sith do, if some Joe Schmo picks up a staff and starts swinging it around, they're going to get hurt because they have no training. They are basically they try to they see somebody spinning it around and being proficient with theirs. They think they can do the same thing and they try it, and what do you know? Off comes, the next thing you know, they're got a gash close to their spine or their
Yeah,
neck or whatever. but it
Oh,
kind of
Charles says, "Has anyone else fallen on their saber in the shower?" Well, that's a subtle question, and and to that I say no because I have proper matting on my shower floor.
you should, right? You should
Be a,
have some
be a
proper.
very buzzing experience, I would tell you that.
Ugh.
Mhm.
Now, if you say something
They're gonna
involving
have a.
now if you say something involving sabers falling into holes, that is crossing the line.
Well, he's gonna have a new show called Slip and Saber, man.
Oh no, and then he has a scenario where like it's based off of that where it's based off of that one skit by the whitest kids you know where he's like, I can't believe you're just here with the saber hole.
Yeah, Mr. Hands, huh? Mr. Handman.
Yeah.
The saber dude meets Bruce Lee, man. Bruce Lee's gonna pull out those saber chucks. Have you seen those memes with the saber chucks?
Yes,
Oh
Yeah.
my
I
god.
have a pair of those. I have a pair
Ge-
of those jocks. They're pretty
Genius,
cool,
dude.
actually.
Genius, man.
I made those sleeves so that you could put them on over the cover of the blades, so you could actually hold them. So it looks like
Uh-huh.
you're not holding the lightsaber blade. So, but they are pretty cool, though. I really wish I could fit more. They were supposed to be updated that had sound. They were all ready for it. They retrofitted the casing and everything. Talking about 3D parts, let's take the parts. Yeah,
Hmm.
they have it all ready to go for sound and they have the lighting, of course, a few of the effects that's on board. So if all we need is sound and a small battery, and it's got the charging capabilities, so I sure hope the board or something, or at least an update gets done to those. That'd be great.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing, the 3D print some stuff that the covers, right?
Yeah,
The plastic covers that go over the boards onto the chassis, and they go over um they go over the batteries. They go over.
the trucks. These are those
Mhm.
the lit up chucks, right? Well, yeah. So instead of grabbing the blade, I made these little sleeves that people can get also if they want them. But I just made them, and then you could just slide them right off, and then they're just very
There you
simple.
go.
You know, glue them on, and then they light up. I don't know if these still light up. I think my batteries might be dead on me. I
Oh
haven't used
wow.
these in like maybe a month or so. So there's one of them at least. So this one
Wow.
lights up. I don't
Look
think this
at
this one's dead. But these are the
that.
trucks, and you know they do all the clashes and the blasts and stuff. Like say at this, they've got everything already there, just no sound. But if you actually look at the case, see they got the little spot for the hole for the sound, and they've got all the stuff
Mhm.
ready. And
Wow.
I would be amazed if I
Nice.
could try and shove a proppy board in here or something smaller like a Verso, just to be
Yeah,
able to have sound. Because they're pretty
that would
nice,
be cool.
pretty functional.
I can just hear Bruce Lee on them right now.
Yeah, I have my Bruce Lee font.
Wah! Bikes. Yeah, right. There we go.
But I think they're pretty cool, and they last a while. I mean, when you're using them, yeah, these are really cool, man. They're fun to play around with.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Uh, speaking of batteries, I want to give an update to some of the batteries that I bought, which basically are the 21700s that I bought from China, right?
Oh yeah,
And let me hold on here. So these batteries right here. right?
Yep, those are nice.
They were okay, and I'm not gonna say they're great. They're okay. And the reason why I say okay is due to the fact that I just had to fully charge it today. Um, because I had put it in the warlock, and the warlock went into sleep mode. Well, normally with a good battery, you wouldn't have to worry too much about battery drainage that fast, right? 48 hours. 48 hours. When I turned on the saber, it said power core critical, charge saber.
Oh yeah.
In 48 hours.
Yeah, that should
You
not
would
be that long.
48 hours. Now, mind you, I only paid $16 for two, right? And I think I paid like $20 for it.
Well, wait a minute. When you say
20,
48 hours, 48
I
hours on
paid
what? The
I
last
paid
majority of it?
$16 for two, huh?
When you say 48 hours, what were you talking about? I missed. I
Okay, I utilize these into the Warlock Saber, right? So when I turn
sure.
it on,
Okay. I remember
and
that.
this
Yeah.
and the Saber has the Pentastar in it. But
Oh right.
the but I forgot about taking the battery out of it,
Yeah.
and of course the lightsaber went into sleep mode, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
the Golden Harvest board is supposed to be good at not drawing too much
Still
power
draws,
from the
but it
battery.
doesn't draw a lot.
Right. It shouldn't.
Right.
But for 48 hours of me not turning on the saber at all, 48 hours, I don't think that the battery should have drained that much that quickly.
How long
But
did
then
you use it
again,
before you
maybe
had it
because I
now?
had it, huh?
How long did you use it before you had it, and you're running a Pentastar?
Not very much because I think when I did forget about it, I think I had 80% of the battery left.
Oh,
So
okay. Well, then definitely something to
maybe
do on that.
that's why. But when I
Mm,
had only eighty
at 80%.
percent and 48 hours later it said battery critical charge saber, I would think I would have had at least a month's worth of time into
Well, it
sleep mode
depends on the
without touching it.
discharge. You have to see what that discharge is. It says 6,000, but that's not the discharge. You got to find out what the amps of the discharge is on that. If it's 10 amps, 5
Well,
amps,
that's what they claimed.
15
Yeah.
amps. See, it doesn't tell you on that. So if it's a 15 amp battery, it probably wouldn't have taken 48 hours. It would have taken maybe longer because it's got a higher drain capacity. But if it's less than that, like 10 or 5 amps, then it's just gonna suck the life out of it, you know. And are
Yeah,
those
and
are
I
those
don't think it's
protected
not a
or
high drain.
unprotected? Are
Yeah,
those
it
protected
could be
batteries?
that it may not be. They claim it's a high drain, but I think maybe it's not a high drain.
Well,
So
it should really state it on the package. If they really mean it, it should state it. That's my opinion.
yeah, no, you're absolutely right, and this is
If it
why
says
I
it
preach.
lasts 48
Do
hours,
your.
just stamp it on there. It's gonna last for 48 hours. That's my guarantee. You know, you can't say something and then be like,
I mean,
"Oh,
on
I'm
the
sorry, I shouldn't have said that." You know, makes no.
yeah.
I mean, especially when it comes to
Now
equipment. You know.
now on the plus side, I did leave it on red. I
Yeah.
did leave it on red at 100%. I turned on the lightsaber and I left it on purpose because I wanted to see how long it would take to
Yeah.
kill the saber before it turned off. And to my amazement, it was almost 7 hours straight.
Yeah.
Almost
That's
7 hours
pretty
straight.
pretty good. That's
Yeah,
pretty good. That's actually really good. I mean, it depending on what blade. You said you had the large blade with a lot of LEDs, and
yeah,
and you're dealing with one of those batteries. So that's 7 hours of runtime, not really doing anything. By the way, you're not using the motion. You're just letting it
right,
run with the blade. Then that's it. And red is a darker color, so it's not going to take as much as white. So if you
right.
left it white, you may be at a 5 hours or 4 hours, all depending. You know.
Yeah, I need to test it with the blue color and see how long it'll go.
Just do it every
Yeah.
color. That would be a very cool challenge to see what's going on each day. Just light it up and see how long it lasts.
Yeah.
Let it roll. You know.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely, man. But
But
I
you
mean,
also have to be careful
it was
doing
a
that
good
because
first
your
test.
battery can heat up too. You know, so keep
Hmm.
that. Be mindful of that. Your board and battery, while running, can heat up, and you know,
Well, it did. It did
yeah.
warm up the battery. I did have to say that. The battery was a little warm to the touch. Not hot, but warm.
They all get warm, even the good ones.
Yeah.
You know, even the key power. Even all the good ones. Well, energy is what is it? It's molecules, right? So the more you're
Yeah.
draining, the more you're pulling from it, the more harder it's going to work. The faster those molecules are going, and it's going to create heat. So
Yeah.
it's
Absolutely.
what it's chemistry, science 101. You know, that's the easiest way to say it. Just molecules moving.
And now we're gonna have we're gonna need to do a science lesson on the show.
Yeah.
That's a joke, people. That's a joke. And I hear chirping. I hear crickets.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
watching
don't
the
mind me.
chat. I'm
I'm
trying to.
Oh, don't
We're
mind me.
talking
I'm
about
actually
parts. I want to see if we can answer some of their questions about parts.
Let's see here.
don't mind me.
Um,
I'm actually my I recently
so
sorry, my bad.
I
Go
wanted
ahead.
to answer Mo's question about print a 1 millimeter 136 and walls go around a CFX. Well, you can 1 millimeter is good. It's when you start getting into the point zeros. That's when you start losing credibility in your print. You could do 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter, anything like that is fine for a wall around it. To make it strong enough for hinges, well, now you're going to have some room, and you're going to have to devise some sort of a hinge that will take us some small rod,
Hmm.
brass. I usually use brass rods for hinges when I do them, so something really tiny you can get, the size of a pin to use as a
Right.
hinge. You can make them small depending on how good the quality of your prints are. It's all depending on that. You can get a 1 millimeter nozzle on your printer and then just start printing 1 millimeter layers, and then you would never ever see the layer lines. You wouldn't see anything. It would be,
Right.
but it depends on the skill of. See, each one of these. All right, I'll tell you one thing. Each one of these things is a skill. Okay, learning how to print is a skill. Printing is a skill. Designing this so it goes in the printer is a skill.
I
Learning
agree.
the functionality of the printer and the filaments is a skill. You have to really focus on your skill or skills in order to get something complete that you really like and comes out perfect or the way you want it. But each one
I
of these is a
completely
skill.
agree.
You can't forget one and then move on to the other. They all are combined. So just don't forget about it. Printing is not just like, hey, I press a button, everything goes. Nowadays it's starting to get that way. Why? It's because it was too hard. People didn't want to bother leveling the bed. I don't want to play with these wheels. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Everybody said no.
I would have done it
Tired,
all, man.
we're tired of automate. We're tired of non-automation. We're in a world that we want everything automated and everything just falls right into our lap. Well, guess what? They are starting to do that now. you know, like my printer, my Creality printer is a workhorse. I have to Velcro the sucker down because it's a beast. It goes so fast. Amongst other printers that work really well. I'm happy with mine. I chose that because it was within my realm, within my budget, and within my means, and that's how I work it. But everything's a skill.
And that's the way it
You know?
should. That's the way it should work. I mean, you have to spend according to your budget. I mean, you're not gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you're not gonna go and buy a Rolls Royce when you're broke as shit. I mean, you're not gonna do
No.
that.
No.
You know,
But I
and
wanted the
and it's the same thing for
capabilities. I
everything
wanted the
else.
capabilities of a Rolls Royce in a Toyota. So I bought the Toyota, but it's not really a Toyota. It's more like an in between car, like a Corvette to me, because it's really something.
Oh,
The
but
engineering
here's the
that it
beauty
took
to
to make
things.
that printer, I appreciate it and I respect it because
Yeah.
and most of the designs are pretty similar. You know what I'm saying? But I respect that because it does a good job, and their software is it blows me away. I use it every day, and I'm like I'm getting excellent prints. You know, I'm still working on my still printing up my big Millennium Falcon build. I'm waiting.
Hmm.
Like I said, I bought those 3D prints off online, but I've been printing each night, a couple of pieces a day. You know, so
Hmm.
what? So a part breaks. So what? You get the part and you fix it. At least the parts in the newer machines are readily available. So
Yeah.
it's a
Absolutely.
it's a fun project. It's a fun experience. I mean, if you're going to go into printer
And
farming,
that's
that's a
the
whole different ball game. If you're just doing something to print a couple of projects out, on the weekend, that's great. If you're doing it for business, buy a good machine. Make sure that it's not
yeah.
going to fail. You know,
And
and
that's the beauty of having those skills because eventually, like you said, you bought the Toyota, but eventually you can put the motor you know, of a Lamborghini in that thing
yeah, you
and
could do
and,
a
and
plane.
have it run if not close to that Lamborghini. You can get it, you may not get it on the dot, but you're going to get it damn near close with the skills that you've acquired, right? With the
Yeah, and
skills
what
that you've
laid in front
acquired.
of you.
And yeah, I mean, you can get there. You can get there. I mean, if somebody who's a mechanic, somebody who has never done mechanic work in their life, okay, they've always taken their car to the mechanic place. They've they've taken their wives or girlfriends' cars to the place to get it done. But then they said, you know what? I'm tired of spending this much money, and they see the cost of doing it this way, and they say, well, shit, let me go change the oil myself and see if it's worth the cost. Well, they go and they're spending what, 80, 60 to $80 for an oil change, where they go in and they say, okay, I need this, I need that. Okay, I buy these products and I've watched these videos, so now I can change the oil myself and see what the cost is. So they go by, okay, the amount of oil it takes for them to put it in, to drain the oil, where to take the oil, and you compare the cost of that other person doing it as opposed to you doing it yourself. And if there's a 20 or $30 difference in it, well then hell yeah, do
But
it yourself.
there is a difference in a repair shop as opposed to doing small electronics. Now, not everybody
Hmm.
has the mindset or the skill or the knowledge to do that. Some do. Some have gone
Right.
to college and taken electronic courses. They could do this in their sleep, similar to what I've done. I've done this
Hmm.
since I was small. I've been doing electronics since I was 13, 12. So it's not new
See,
to me.
and somebody like
But
me, I don't have those skills yet,
right,
but
but that's
I'm
why
I'm
all the guys
watching.
like us are teaching people like you who don't have those particular sections of what you need to get going. Like some of it you already do. You already know a lot, believe it or not. You just have to be able to throw it together. And that's what
Right.
we're able to do. But don't forget, there are groups, in just about every field
Yeah.
known to man, I have to say, whether it be on Facebook, YouTube, any other social media, that you could learn from, literally
Yeah.
learn from. Like you said, Jeremy. Jeremy's got all the things for the making chassis and doing all the stuff. Great. That's a learning process. He's out there and it's showing you how to get that happen. Same thing with printing.
Hmm.
I have a couple of learning videos too out there. I showed difference in speakers, how to
Yeah.
program your board. So that's what I'm saying. It's just a matter of skills. It's a skill upon a skill upon a skill. And when you combine those
Hmm.
together, that's how you accomplish things like this. You're working on the lathe. You can do things like this. It's scary at first. Yeah, sure. We've all had that fear of going, oh God, what if this piece flies up in my eye or something? Well,
Hmm.
skill, learn the research, learn what you need, protection, all that other stuff. There's a massive amount of things that you would need to get involved with in order to do things like this.
Yeah.
Testing,
Well,
follow up.
let's touch on N's question about
Yeah,
considering chassis, whether they're crap or they're good chassis. How can you really tell if they're really good chassis? Well, I mean, and the fact of the matter is that if it's a good sturdy chassis, but it's got to be functional. If it's functional, it's a good chassis, man. I
I mean,
mean,
yeah,
it
definitely.
doesn't.
And I say function over fashion. Look, don't get me wrong. A crystal hilt with all the gold and brass and stuff. That looks beautiful. That looks
I love
stunning.
that.
If
Yep.
it doesn't, if the saber doesn't light up, if it doesn't hold up when you're clashing it, there is
Yeah.
no point in getting it. So I will take a singular black cylinder, a plain looking chassis over anything else if it can work functionally.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
That's exactly right. It's exactly. I
like I'm
agree
not I'm
100%.
like I'm not like Buggy the Clown from One Piece. I'm not all flashy and whatnot when it comes to the
Yeah.
little things. I'm
But
And
flashy when it comes
but
to
you
the
can have flash. There's nothing wrong with that. It all depends
no,
on. Yeah.
nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it at all. Nothing
Simpler
wrong with all.
chassis are great. There's less to worry about. There's less things to go wrong. All these dips and doozies, these rods, all kinds of stuff. If it's and remember, you're dealing with
Have
plastic and
you?
metal. I mean, all these things have to take some sort of abuse eventually because these
Yeah.
guys you're swinging them around, you're bringing them. You may do some light dueling. If
yeah.
this
I mean,
thing
like
if this
for
thing pops
example,
apart,
the Loretto Sabers one I
it's
have.
over for your day. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
Have you all watched Benji Nerfherder's recent video?
I have not, not
He
yet.
okay. He was talking about a recent. He's talking about some scrap text that he's done throughout the years and stuff. And but one of the things that really caught my ear, and I appreciate Benji so much, is if you listen to his video very well, he says that um, he was into all the blinkies, all the lights,
Oh yeah, 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 definitely.
and
Right.
he says, man, I'm over it. I don't need all those blinking lights anymore, man. And just a few to visually give life to the saber, and that's all I need. And so, it stands true that sometimes less is more, right? And don't get me wrong, because Jeremy and Tim from Tearfund are fantastic makers as well, and James as well. But you see the differences in between their builds, right? The differences
Yeah.
in all the
You should
the,
have
the
different
lights, the
builds.
blinkies, and the differences in sometimes a plain chassis. Maybe have some light greeblies into it and stuff.
Well,
Sometimes
just
that
remember,
that that
all
that
those
goes
things.
a million miles away.
Right, but all those things come with a cost. Don't forget, putting those things in there, it comes with a cost. Even for me,
Yes.
it's just like a simple chassis like this is not expensive. But if you start putting, LED strips and crystal chambers and brass parts and all kinds of things, it comes with a cost. And also the design of the chassis. Where do you want your board? Hey, I'll put it in the back if you want. Sure, comes with a cost. So these things, the simpler
Yeah. And
is the
and the cost of the
you know
labor that goes along with putting those extra stuff
well,
in it.
absolutely. It's
You
not,
know?
but he's got high quality things, and I will not deny that. Those things are very good quality. I have high quality stuff too. Terrafon overall has high
Hmm.
quality stuff. If you stay with high quality stuff, you can't go wrong. It doesn't matter who you get it from, as long as it's look good in your hands. When you get that
Yeah.
in your hands, and you like it, go, oh my God, I love it. That's great. That's what you expect. From me, from anybody else. That's what you want to have. You don't want something that's going to go, something didn't, something broke. I would hopefully never have anything that broke going out. I mean, whether it be in shipping or anything. So far, knock on wood, absolutely nothing has broke. Like chassis
Yeah.
it's like in half, because we've done a few static hilts, where the chassis stay in the hilt and you take the pommel off, and there's some worry with those things because they always have a tendency of cracking right where the end is that it connects to the emitter vent.
Uh, yeah.
You have to
Forgive me,
acknowledge
guys.
those
I'm trying.
things and make sure that the design of the chassis is good in those parts in those areas. I remember years ago, before I even started doing any chassis, I remember when I used to have to get some chassis from companies, and they're always lacking where the battery goes in. When you see where the battery goes in, the lines of the print go straight down. Now, what would that mean to me? That means that support where the battery is touching, it would eventually snap off because the pressure of the springs pushes that away. It's like
Yeah.
done. So I think, yeah, those are really great. Yeah. See, those are nice, but that's like a plastic, right? It's not a printed. Is that like
Yeah. It doesn't
that's
feel
plastic?
printed. It feels like
Yeah.
a plastic,
Yeah,
like
that's a nice
a cheap.
strong plastic. Resin is great. I mean, I can't deny it. Resin is good. I don't do resin. I can't do it. I'm allergic to the smells and stuff. So 3D printing
Yeah,
is
and I don't think I do resin either because for me, what I saw that you have to wash and clean, that to me,
and
that is
and
a
the
little
chassis
too
aren't
much work.
cheap. All right, the chassis aren't cheap because the product isn't cheap. So you always have to
Right.
account for those things. Those. But if you want something good, spend the money by all means. Do it. I'm not telling nobody not to buy it. You know what I mean? I would
Yeah.
buy it for myself. I bought a couple of resin chassis for my prints.
And
I
and I'll
tested them
tell
on
you,
3D. Got 3D is amazing. Like those
oh,
chassis are great.
absolutely.
And the
God
taco
3D
shop.
stuff
Let's not forget
is
about the taco shop
Oh,
too. He
Goth
makes amazing
3D,
designs.
they are
You know?
masters. Like that's the type of
Yeah,
thing you need to. That's
yeah.
the type of thing you never need to act. You should never spend your
No,
money on
you
until
never
you're
have
like
to worry
absolutely
really.
done. Yeah.
Yeah,
well, and like James says
I
too, the
agree.
taco shop as well. The taco shop
Yeah,
does
so many
amazing
guys that
work.
make great. It's not. It's the design and it's the quality of the material. Like they do a lot of resin chassis, so I can appreciate that, and they've got their skills mastered. What did I say? Skills. Everybody's got a skill. It's like levels, man. It's great. So
And
don't
I,
mistake my opinions about all these different chassis for not wanting to go and get those things. Absolutely get those things. Look into them.
yeah, if you got the money,
You would
go for
appreciate
it.
it more.
Go for it. If you got the money, go
Yeah,
for it, man.
Do it.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
You know, but if you're somebody like me, and I tell you, I mean, I'm full transparent, guys. I don't have a whole lot of money. I got three girls in college right now. I don't have hardly any money for myself. But when I got $50 every 2 weeks for myself. And if I save up, I don't spend that money for a whole week, 2 weeks,
Right,
and I
right,
get about $100.
right.
I've got that $100 to
Now
spend on parts.
Mo said about Mo said, and he takes on 3D printing metal chassis. Now here's the thing about metal chassis: that the parts are beautiful, but they are expensive. I mean, you get a complete metal chassis. You're gonna at least be. I think that one that goes in the loot kilts, most of those, they're like $2,000-3,000 because of those pieces. There's a lot of little pieces, a lot of time
Yeah,
went into that,
Oh my God. Yeah.
and parts. It's worth it
prime
to you.
example.
It's worth it to you if you want that. If you're dying to get a metal chassis and go, I want that. That's it. You won't go wrong by buying it. I will tell you that because at the $3,000 or $5,000 level, they've got their poop together. I'll tell you that they know what they're
Yeah.
doing at that point. You know, so I wouldn't be opposed to
Well,
buying a metal chassis. I'd love to get one. In fact, I want to try
yeah.
one myself, but it's tedious, it's time consuming, and CNC machines are basically everybody's friend nowadays when it comes to that kind of
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. And that's the
or
thing.
infused, I should say, in metal infused, because they do a lot of that nowadays for the smaller parts. They just melt metal and they drop it right into a mold, and there it is. Um,
Well, and the bottom line is that you're gonna need to be happy with what you get.
oh yeah,
So you're gonna have to try to leave emotion out of your buying process. Because if you go in and you're saying, "Oh, dude, that's badass. Oh, that's badass. Oh, that's badass." Every every chassis that you go for and look at that's badass, is it really that functional? Is it going to last a while? Is it going to give you the satisfaction that you're actually looking for, right? Um, Damn it, what did I
I
do
like
with that
the
chassis?
I like the
Um,
colors that are coming out of Terrafon Orbital's chassis. I love his color combinations with his imprints on the chassis. I honestly respect that. I love the way that looks because it's nice and clean, and it gives you that effect of what you're looking for in a saber. You know, I want it to look like that. I have hopes and dreams of always having something like that within a reasonable price, and I think that falls along those lines. Of being
yeah, absolutely.
a
That
nicely
would be
chassis.
that
Mike,
would be like my
he
Rolls
does some
Royce,
of the
man.
brass stuff, right? But he doesn't. When he doesn't do the brass stuff, he makes up for it in those um, contouring colors and the way he does the outlines and stuff. I really enjoy it. I like it a lot.
So I'm gonna tell you, I built this chassis right here. Let me see here. Just a minute. Give me a minute here. And this chassis that I built has no sound, right? But
Oh yeah,
everything on here is from the custom saber shop, right?
nice man. Yeah,
Every bit of this chassis is all from the custom saber shop, right? I haven't utilized it in years because, of course, I've got, the other ones and including, the Warlock and stuff. So eventually I'm going to go back and I'll charge this up and I'll put this in something else. And I may give this to somebody, eventually.
no, looks
Um,
cool though, man.
because this is blue. I think
Yeah,
this is a royal blue LED in here. I believe that's what
and
it
it's
is,
got
right?
the
Hey
transformer
Titan.
there in the back of it too.
Yeah. And so like I said, every bit of this is all custom saber shop. But I like stuff like this. I
Yeah,
like
yeah,
chassis like this. They don't have to be 3D printed, right?
no,
They can be
no,
acrylic printed. They can be
yeah,
metal printed. Well, not necessarily metal printed, but the custom saber shop provides those parts
yeah,
and you can get all of those parts to make chassis like this. To me, this is beautiful, man.
man, yeah,
To me, this this deserves to go inside a hilt. You know what I'm saying? And if if I had 3D printed parts that looked like this, absolutely, I'd put it together and make it look like this,
yeah.
along with
My
some of
Kylo
the
Ren is like
brass,
that. My Kylo Ren,
along with
I
the
have that.
brass rods.
I have
Yep.
my Kylo Ren just like that with the rods and the sleeves, and yeah, I love the way that looks, and it really looks cool with the crystal chamber in it too.
Oh yeah. I mean, stuff like that to produce a kind of chassis that is yours. I mean, of course, the Saber Shop does produce those parts because I mean, you don't have a lathe. I don't have a lathe. I mean, I can't. Uh,
Need light.
that's the kind.
I'm
Mo
starting to
says,
get
yeah,
prepared
that's
with
the kind of
Marcus.
chest I love. Then buy the parts from the custom saber shop, bro, and make that
Yeah,
chassis that way. And all you have to do is look at the specs, look at the batteries, look at the things, how you want to mount those up, and I guarantee you cannot go wrong. But you do have to look and kind of make sure the parts that you're getting fit together, because with some of the specs that they have on there, you need to make sure that those parts do actually go together. I mean, because there's things that you can put together, but you really can't. Like the V2 and
it's
V1,
all measurements,
there are very few parts. There are very few parts that you can interchange to combine together.
right? Yep.
But for the most part, you can't really make something work with V1 and V2 intermediately. I mean, it won't work that
Have
way.
to be modded.
So,
You'd have to mod some stuff with them.
well, yeah, you do have to mod. I stand corrected. I stand corrected. You do have to do some
Anything is
modifications.
possible, Mundo. You just got to have the patience, the will, the imagination, and you could squeeze a football into a garden hose, man. There's
Oh,
always ways of
absolutely.
doing things. You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of people are doing now. They're taking those 1 inch hilts and they're squeezing a whole bunch of stuff in there. You know, but it's the length. Like I said, it's the length of
So
how those are.
here's something else that I got from the custom saber shop, right? The
Yeah,
3D
those are
printed
great
chassis.
too. Yeah, yeah.
See? So you can see
It's
the
modular.
differences in how you want to portray your chassis, how you want it to look, right? So if you look at them side by side in the comparison, there is no comparison. This is all pretty much all metal and um acrylic, right? This is pretty much 3D printed
Right.
and plastic.
Yeah.
So there's your comparison right there. If you're looking, both of them are going to be functional, but which one are you going to be happy wiring up? Which one are you
All
going to be
depends.
happy? Which one are you going to be happy purchasing the parts and putting them together and modding if you need to mod, like James said,
No, that's hard
so
to
that
answer because you will never know. The only way you're going to decide that is to research how much you have to get involved with it. A lot of people don't
right,
understand how much you actually have to get involved with it.
yeah.
If you just want to buy a saber from anybody installed and it turns on and it's great, you're happy with it, perfect. But if you want to start doing the installs yourself and learning the abilities of each board and things like that and making parts, chassis, and all that, you know,
Well, I want to show you one difference
take some time.
also. One difference in these chassis that the custom saber shop offers, right?
Hmm.
You have this same chassis, but with the I'm gonna have to get the warlock here to show you guys
But it's also
because
designated to a certain width.
yeah. Now the difference between the chassis that they offer in chassis parts section of the custom
Right.
saber shop, they have it totally different in purchasing the chassis, but in the core, I believe it's the core build, right? Or the they have the core builder, right? So you purchase your core
Yeah.
builder, and then you after purchasing the core, that you build your saber around the core, which is what the warlock is, right? But the difference between this chat, oh, damn it, um,
You see?
butter butterfingers. The I need another drink, man. The difference between this chassis right here and the chassis from the core is they have the prongs to hold the board. You see
Right.
that?
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
They have the prongs there to hold the board, and this
Right.
chassis does
Does not.
not have the prongs.
Right.
Does not
Well,
have the prongs. I wish they did because that would make things so much easier for these builds than it would. But on the
Well,
set on
that's one of those things that could be made because you could actually put a sleeve in there if it has enough room, but probably not because the way that is designed um, is those clips are in along the lines of the edges of where the board will sit. So if you tried to make a board something to go inside of that tray to hold the board, it would be very difficult because you'd have to raise it. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard.
yeah.
And not only that, those little spring clips that you have that you showed where the board is, that's made out of the plastic, right? That's just regular, not PLA, but that's like resin plastic, so it's a little stronger.
Definitely. So I mean, there's so many differences in chassis, in building chassis, in printing chassis, in doing so many different things
Yeah,
that can enhance your sabers the way you want. But you do have to do your due diligence of what you actually wanting to achieve. don't be like me. I was dumb. I was emotional when I got into this because of my best friend, right? And I basically ran instead of crawled into this industry, this hobby, the love of sabers.
Hmm.
I love this shit so much, dude. I tell you, you have to take it slow and be happy with what you're heading towards.
Yeah, I
If you're
mean,
not, that's a big thing. Barris, are you happy with some of your purchases, or is there some purchases that you actually like? I wish I didn't get that.
well, I will say I am most of the time. I'm actually satisfied with the purchases I get. I will say that one of the purchases I did get was the eco version of the Apprentice Saber, like the one that Keller and Beck picks up in the flashback, and it's just a
Nice.
simple, slide in the slide in the core sort of thing. And I realized that that particular hill I just really didn't need. It's an extra. I'm just as fine with
Later,
using
and then
made main hilt. And like for example, my my this Darth Sidious hilt, this is a jewel. Like this thing,
Oh yeah.
I never thought I would ever own a saber by KR hilt, KR sabers. Never would. And I started rebuilding my collection after I got out of college, which is like back in 2020, late 2022, early 2023. So I've been only doing this for like almost 2 years now. So
hmm
I never thought I would get this nice of a hilt. And
That's a great hill.
the crown jewels of my collection are always going to be my master replicas hilts. That's that's all that they're always going to be that 100%. But it's something like this, I never thought I would get. Like
yeah,
maybe somewhere down the line I'll sell. I traded in my my Nexus Kenobi ANH
Mm.
and TX and Nexus Revenge of the Sith. And who knows? Maybe sometime down the line, I'll sell them and I'll raise up and I'll save up to get the KR Sabers versions of those hills because Cal from KR Sabers, his is like some of the bet is like basically a 1-to-1 replica of the prop.
yeah. Eventually, I'd like to get a couple of his hills.
Yeah, I got a whole bunch of
And
them somewhere. they're in the display cabinet.
well, I plan on, like I said, the three. I think the 3D printer. Once I get good with it and sell some hills myself, I'll be able to purchase some here and there after after I get good enough to do stuff like that. And they will be my personal, my personal unicorns, so to speak, to purchase
Oh,
those hills
Well, I
and have them on display.
well just so you know, whatever KR Sabers hilt that you do get, just know that make sure you have gloves because yeah, this thing is very
yeah,
very
they get a lot.
yeah
Oh
It
yeah,
gets
I know.
fingerprinty.
yeah. I'm holding it by
I need to get I
by
need
the
to get Cal back.
I'm
I had Cal on the show before.
here. That's how yeah.
I had Cal on the show before, and I need to get him back on if he gets some time.
Oh
I
yeah,
need to I need to email him and see if he'll have some time, probably next year, and see if I can get him back on the show next year.
Well, you'd have to remember he's all the way in jolly old Britain, so
Oh yeah, that's all right though, because the last time I had him on the show, it was early morning for me and evening for him. So um, I need to make sure that we do that too, because once I get him, if he agrees to come back on the show, it'll be it'll be like a 2 o'clock show for me, or an 8 o'clock in the morning show for me, and a 6 o'clock in the evening show for him. So.
yeah, no way I'm doing
Um, so I'll have to see about the time difference when he's available and stuff like that. Um, but and then of course, we got Rob coming on the show in the fall. So after his sabbatical, I'll try to get a hold of him and see when he's available to come on the show. next month I'll try to do a giveaway. With the giveaway, the I'm gonna come up with some questions, and I think I'll have, if you guys are on with me, we'll have one of you guys monitor for the winner, and the first one to answer correctly that particular question will win. And I will see exactly what Anthony wants to give away, and we will proceed from there. I'll let you guys know so that we can have people come in, and we at the beginning of the week I will make I might make a short YouTube announcement of the giveaway if I have time to do that. Usually during the week I'm pretty busy with work and family stuff. So but I'll try to make, if not I will go on Facebook and I will do a live Facebook to let everybody know what the giveaway will be. So we'll go from there, and I know everybody can get that information from Facebook, Instagram. I'm not on Twitch or any other platform, specifically because I can't keep up with all this shit. I'm too old. I am. I just, with my dyslexia and stuff, I can barely keep up with Facebook and Instagram, man. So
I'm
yeah,
only on a few platforms. That's it, man. It's
I,
like
I can't keep up with
my
anything.
website goes worldwide, so I don't really care. You know what I mean? That's word of mouth is the biggest thing. So just see it. mountainsairresponse.com. That's it.
Oh man, and we need to make some plans, guys. I want to get y'all out to my ranch where we can have a couple of days where we have a barbecue and talk sabers and everything, man. So we will probably in the next 2 years. I will let you know how it things. I got to talk with my mom and see how when a good time would be to go, because I don't want to bring you guys when it's too super hot, because when it's super hot, it is
Hot.
super hot. It's like at my ranch when it is super hot, you're looking at 102 to 104 in the
That's it.
shade.
That's it.
In the shade. In the shade.
My
That's
temps,
it.
my temps are more
I
than
mean,
yours.
but man, I'd probably be wearing shorts over there with you in the
Yeah, and
mountains.
it's like that all winter. It's like that all winter long too, almost, man. It's like it gets hot there everywhere. We hardly have very little winter
We
in
got,
now.
man, we got two seasons here, hot and hotter.
Yeah.
If it gets cold, we're lucky.
I mean, you saw that one time it snowed and then it was gone. So it was just like that's what happens when you're in high elevations, man. Anything can happen.
Man, dude, it snows every 100 years here in Corpus, man.
Yeah,
In, in
don't have that
in
luxury.
my lifetime, I'm 50 years old. In my lifetime, it has only snowed twice in Corpus, and the first one was a good snow. The second one, not even an inch. I mean, it was just a thin layer. It looked like,
I was glad
basically, it looked like
that's
a
when I got my
crappy
video
3D
anyway.
printer.
I always wanted to
Oh
do
my
a snow
god.
video. I just wanted to throw it in there, so I finally got a chance to do it now. So this week I got to try and work on that font video that I wanted to do with the sword, my new font that's going to come out hopefully. So I have a name for it, but I don't want to disclose it yet, so I'll disclose it in the video. But
Yeah,
because I was
I'm
going through a whole bunch of different names for it, and I just don't know what to call it yet. So I'm tossed between a couple of names. So I don't know. I'm almost ready to put a poll out there, but I'm thinking, who knows? I have
Scott's got the dry heat though.
yeah, I
Scott,
have
you got the dry heat. I have that heat with the humidity added to
yeah. That's
it.
the worst. Yeah,
It's freaking nuts, man. You put the humidity with that, and you're like,
that's
oh
the
my
worst.
god, you feel like you're in a damn sauna.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man.
I tell you. I tell you. One of the things that I wanted to also touch on as far as 3D printed parts go is buttons, right? The if you've got some buttons that are a little far down and you got to get down into those crevices to the buttons, man.
Plungers,
3D printing, huh? Plungers,
plungers.
yeah.
Yeah, I print
3D
them all the
printed
time when they're
plungers.
missing.
Do you print the plungers with springs or not springs?
if
Or is it the plastic that gives to give that spring action?
Well, no, it depends on how the control box is designed. Sometimes, you actually have to place those plungers in there, and it depends on the chassis too. If the chassis is removable and it's spring loaded, then I would have to incorporate some sort of a retention spring to stay in there. But it's a lot of
Yeah,
that
because
stuff is machined. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that stuff is metal machined so that it has a lip on it so it doesn't come out. Like some things
yeah,
like that would have to be designed, to work properly.
right. So what I'm thinking right now, I'm just kind of thinking out of the box, but for right now, with the balance hilt, I have, oh my God, I can't even hold this thing. So I've got the magnets on this thing, right? And of course it goes into the little slot there for the buttons. And then you can utilize these and push the buttons down. But I'm
Right?
thinking is that when I get my printer to print those other buttons like that and get it to the point where it's got the spring action and I can just push it down and the buttons will be pushed that way instead of having it completely like this.
Mm-hmm.
This little piece will be down there and the spring action will utilize. I won't have anything kind of like really sticking out of here like this. So uh, I've
Right.
got some design issues to think about. And that's where I'm at with the balance work and that's where I'm at right now. And once I figure the button situation out a lot better, then I can proceed to start wiring up the chassis and everything else on top of that. So, um, so for now, let's go ahead. I think I'm gonna call it right now, and I'm gonna go and get ready for work for tomorrow, and then
Yes.
get ready for going out of town. I used a
Yeah, man.
different
You have
type
a good
of
trip, man. I wish you'd have a great time, and you know,
Yeah, we're going to go and take my daughter to her college,
bring your
and
sabers.
we're gonna have the introduction to the campus and what
Nice.
she's gonna be doing and all that good stuff, man. So it's gonna take a couple of days to go do that good stuff. So yeah, I'm going to light up the Pentastar tonight, and
Awesome.
this is the Warlock hilt.
Very nice.
Oh yeah, my goodness,
Mine's not a pentastar, but seriously, mine is bright. You can tell
it is. It's very bright.
It's a
rotoscoping
nice.
is actually pretty good.
It's
And
a nice blade. It's a good looking blade.
I'm actually
And
this Friday is actually
Sound menu.
Star Wars night at the Lookout. Stop
I'm
it.
going to Inris. Go ahead.
Um, this Friday is actually Star Wars night at the Lookout, so it'll be the last one before they build the new stadium. So that'll be
Oh,
fun.
cool.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
We're keepers of the peace. Now be wary.
Scrapped time.
Ghost Rider!
I'm gonna end this with one of. I gotta have James's font at ending this. The
Oh,
Spider-Man
the
font.
goblin.
Love it.
Isn't that funny? Some great shit.
It's so
Stuff,
wicked,
man.
dude.
It is
It
cool.
is so befitting. It is so befitting, man.
Good stuff, man.
Barris, get that blade in the scene, man. Get it in. There you go.
Nice, man. Cool. I wonder if I have one of this. What?
All right. Enough fun. Damn, I think I should have worn sunglasses. Man, my right eye is kind of like dark spot right here.
Oh well. I watch those bright
Okay,
blades.
so I am taking the battery out of it right now, so it won't happen to.
Yeah, that's usually the best thing is to take the batteries out when you're not really using them because
Yeah, I agree.
it,
I agree because
it's
it'll
expensive.
save the battery that much more power.
It just
And
helps a little bit.
I don't think those are the kind of batteries that I'm going to utilize for cons. I probably utilize those for here. For the simple
Yeah.
fact that you know, for the simple fact that if they fail, I'm not at a con and they fail. Um, I will get the really good. I probably what are they? Night core batteries. I think they're night core the flashlight batteries, and I'll get those in the 21700 format. And those the 21700s, I'll probably take two of them with me, and those will be my con batteries.
Yeah, there you
But
go.
I gave up going to October's con in San Antonio for the 3D printer. So again, sometimes you have to pick and choose what you really want when you're trying to achieve some of your saber goals. So again, you know, do your due diligence. Have make sure you're gonna just make sure you're gonna be happy with what you're gonna get. And that is the bottom line. If you think you're going to be happy, get it. If you think
Oh
that if you have second thoughts about anything, trust your gut and go with what your gut is telling you. If it's telling you not to get it, don't go for it.
yeah. Hell no.
You know, if you have that strong feeling like the force is pulling you and telling you, dude, go for it, then go for it. You know, listen to that little voice in your head. A lot of times it will not steer you wrong. It will not steer you wrong. And let's see. All right, Scott. Good to see you, man. I'm glad you made it. It's time. Cindy used to come on a lot, but he's been playing a lot. Star Citizen, man. I love the dude,
Oh
man.
really?
And
That's a good game.
and and so he's been on Star Citizen since then, and I'll tell you, I love the guy, man. So I watch a lot of his Star Citizen videos, and
Nice.
he's been busy at work a lot too, so he hasn't been able to come on hardly at all. And I just want to give a
I
quick
just got
shout.
Ready or Not, man. That one is pretty good, man. So far, it's really some of it's pretty hard, but it's a good it's a
Well,
good
Cinzy's on there, man. Hit him up.
one.
Hit up Cinzy, dude. He's on there.
All
So Cincy, if you watch this, man, love you, dude. See, talk to you guys later, and I hope you all have a great week.
right, man.
And
Peace out.
look forward to next week's show. I don't know. What do you guys got? What do y'all want to talk about? You two in the chats. What do you guys want to talk about? I mean, if you can't think of anything right now, hit me up and text me or email me and uh, whatever you guys want to talk about, man. Hashtag nerd up, yes sir.
Yeah.
Hashtag nerd up. Oh man, I miss his videos. I miss his videos. And he was such a cool dude, man.
Good dude,
Um,
man.
so
Badass in it.
again, right? I love that. I love it, man. Jeez. Oh my goodness gracious.
All right.
Where am I?
Well, I gotta head out,
All right,
guys.
guys. All right, guys. So you like I
Talk to you
said, you
soon.
guys have a
Peace.
good week. If you guys have any kind of questions, concerns, whatever, let me know. Hit me up. If there's any topics that you guys want to touch on as far as saber
Definitely
wise
email
stuff,
everybody. You can email
yeah.
me too
I
if you
mean,
want to make a topic. I'll pass it on to Mundo if you can't get to him. But do it. Definitely do it. Darius, come up with new
absolutely.
topics, man. Come up with new topics. Anything you want to talk about.
Yep.
Anything, man. Even if it's just Star Wars. Even
Yeah.
if it's just Star Wars, it doesn't matter, man. As a matter of fact, there's
Yep.
a lot of crap coming up with just Star Wars.
Yep.
Okay, guys, Mundo's out. Peace. Love you
Peace.
guys.
Peace.